Hi, good evening, and welcome to PJs with PJ. I am Pajama Talks with Pastor Jeannie. I'm Pastor Jeannie Sartland, and I have the honor of serving the Wimbledon and Kensal United Methodist churches. And so these are almost daily talks where I just share informally a few things that have been running through my head that day. And today I want to talk about how I hate wind. I'm a sound sleeper, and sometimes when it's super windy, that will wake me up and keep me awake at night. And my husband's a light sleeper, so then I worry that Kent is not sleeping well if it's windy. And stuff blows all over the place, and you get grit in your teeth and eyes, and why even bother doing your hair? Yeah, wind and I just are not friends, which is kind of a bad thing when I live in North Dakota because we get a fair amount of wind. Well, today, as I was getting our garbage and recycling ready to go to the curb and worried that the covers were going to blow open and our stuff might fly down the street, and what a pain, I decided to change my perspective a little bit because God shows up in the wind. There's a lot of places in the Bible where when it's windy, it's God showing up. And so I'm just going to mention a few, maybe get you started thinking, because it looks like we're going to have some wind the next couple of days. And this might help you like it helped me. I just really changed my perspective and got more in tune with the wind because it's God. And in Exodus 14, that's where God sends the great wind to part the Red Sea so that the Israelites can walk across on dry land and are saved from the Egyptians, the Egyptian army. And then the wind stops and the waters fall down and take care of that army. And then in Numbers 11, the Israelites, they're in the desert, they're crabby, things are not going well, and they want meat. They've been getting manna every day, but they want some meat. And some of us are meat eaters, right? You want some chicken, or you want a nice juicy steak, or a burger. Well, that's how the Israelites were feeling. They wanted some meat. And here came a great wind, and God showed up with a bunch of quail. So they were loving the quail. I won't tell you how the rest of the story goes, but God showed up and brought them quail. That's all you need to know for now. And then Jonah, Jonah resisted being a prophet for God. God sought after him. God called him. And he was like, I am not going to Nineveh, because the Ninevites were mean. Nobody wanted to go there unless you lived there. Well, so God sent the wind, and the ship he was on in the sea, it was rocking and going to break apart, and Jonah knew it was because of him. And so they threw him into the sea so that everyone else on the ship would be saved. And, then he starts to get the idea he maybe should do what God wants, or what God was asking of him. And then in Matthew 14, that's where we have the disciples, and God sent, or there was a storm, and they were worried that their boat was going to break up and that they were going to perish. And then they look out, and here's Jesus walking on the water. And so I think in the stormy and turbulent, windy times of our lives, we maybe need to remember that Jesus was walking on the water in a time where the disciples thought certain death was coming, that harm was coming to them, Jesus was walking on the water. And so today, as I started listening to the wind, I started kind of bonding in a relationship with God, kind of just talking to God when I'd hear the gusts of wind come, praying for different people, praying for my family. And, I'm not nearly as annoyed by the wind as I was earlier. So anyway, I hope that maybe this helps your perspective on wind, at least for a couple of days, because I'm sure my hatred of wind is probably not going to go away immediately. But hopefully for these next couple of days, I can just really feel like I'm in tune with God as the wind is blowing. So have a good night. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.